This is Jedi General Pong Krail. I welcome you to the Voice of the Republic podcast. Listen to this podcast. That is in order.
Your reputation precedes you, General. The reputation of a great new podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of the Republic podcast. This is Bonnie Peace, Baru from Star Wars.
Time to see who's smart enough to join the hunt. The hunt for the Voice of the Republic podcast.
So, I hear we're going to be taking out separatists on the Voice of the Republic podcast.
Smaller in number, are we? But larger in mind is the Voice of the Republic podcast. Of all the Jedi, why did I have to end up with the Voice of the Republic podcast? As the Republic juggernaut rolls across the disputed worlds, citizens all across the galaxy turn to the Voice of the Republic podcast for help.
Hello, this is C-3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations. Master Luke can't come on the Voice of the Republic today. He's out fighting the stormtroopers that just landed. I shall have him be a guest on the Republic podcast as soon as possible. Oh dear.
Welcome to the Voice of the Republic podcast. My name is Daniel, and joining me is fellow host Rory Williamson.
Hello.
And also joining us are co-hosts Lizzie Carty Dodd and Graham Kavanagh. I got that wrong.
That was interesting.
He's not been on for so long, I forgot.
That's your excuse.
I've been under context for how long, Daniel?
Oh, Laheating, hello.
Well, you're lucky I just didn't say the crazy Irish kid.
I think I'd prefer the crazy Irish kid, because it's not
Okay,
exactly
I'll remember what to call you next time then.
Yes.
Yeah, anyway.
But yes.
Yep, so we also have a very special guest joining us today. We have actress Kathleen Gati, who voiced Old Daka and the Night Sister in Star Wars The Clone Wars. So how are you, Kathleen?
I'm great. I'm very great. Here in Los Angeles, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're having a very nice sunny day. And you guys are in England, and how is it over there?
Not great.
Cold.
If it rains anymore down here, Exeter will float away into the sea.
Ah, not good. Have your swimming shorts on?
I should be.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you join us. Yeah. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the podcast. So we'll get right into the questions. So Daniel, do you want to start?
Of course so. So hello there.
Hi, Daniel.
And my first question is, how did you get into voice acting and what inspired you?
I'm basically an on-camera actress. I've been acting for 25 plus years, and I started doing animation and cartoons and airline travel logs and promos and for different countries, and I speak some different languages, so I've been asked to do different things. More specifically, when I'm doing things about, for example, the film The Great Raid, I revoiced Connie Nielsen. The film The Unborn, I revoiced Jane Alexander. So I speak some languages and I do different accents. I was on 24 for a couple of seasons as the First Lady of Russia. So I do different accents. So people call me specifically. They're like, oh, bring in Kathleen Gati. She can revoice this person with a Russian accent or German accent, whatever. So it's kind of some of that. And, people hear about you and then they say, oh, bring in Kathleen Gati and let's do this or that. And then animation, some things I auditioned for. So just different ways. This one I had a voice agent and they called and they said, we want you to audition for Old Daka and one of the Night Sisters. So I went and auditioned, and lo and behold, Old Daka is now me.
And how did you enjoy your roles in the Clone Wars of Old Daka and the Night Sister?
You know what? It's really lots of fun. A lot of times you work alone, and you go into a small, sound booth, sound stage, or your own little booth, and you do work alone. This time we had a whole group of girls. I think there's some guys here too. There was maybe about 8 of us in the room, and we're all interacting, and it's fantastic because you get to act off each other. You're not just acting by yourself and leaving a space for the other person, and you don't know what they're going to say, how they're going to say it. You know the lines, but you don't know what kind of response you need to give. This way, we're all in the room, we're all acting together. It's spontaneous, fantastic. we had lots of fun, and when the Night Sisters were on, all these like voices, so it was lots of fun. It was really, really great.
Definitely. And that's my questions, and thank you. And I'll now pass you back over to Rory.
So my first question for you, Kathleen, is how did you get the role of Old Daka on the Clone Wars?
Sorry, I think I just answered that, but I auditioned for that role. My voice agent called me, and I had an audition for that role, and I also had to do some samples for Night Sisters to make sure that I could do both extremes.
Nice. And my second question is, what was it like working with the cast on the Clone Wars, and do you remember any of the cast you worked with?
Actually, I don't really. It's been a couple of years, I think, since we did it. But I've worked with some of the actresses before, and it was just, as I mentioned before, we had lots of fun. We all worked together, and we worked off each other, and we laughed a lot. And it's a very fun thing because there's a lot less pressure when you're doing voice than when you're doing on camera. When you're on camera, you have a lot of you have to memorize your lines. You have a lot of these things to think about. Here, you don't have to memorize your lines, but you have to know enough about the character, what you're going to do. There's a lot to think about, and but it's a lot less pressure, so we have fun. And we're playing. It's like I've done some things on the Muppets where we were the Can Girls in one of the things, and then some Munchkins. And here, there's a group of women who are all in 40s and 50s. And we're all dancing, we're doing the voice work, and we're like, wee, wee, la, 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 wee. And it's people watching us think, it's hysterical. I mean, we look ridiculous, but it's so much fun. So, we don't care. We just have fun. And really,
Yeah, nice.
I have to say, it's actually a blast.
Nice, that's really cool. My third question is, what instructions were you given for the voice of Old Daka, if any?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I asked, what instructions were you given for the voice of Old Daka, if any instructions?
It's interesting. In Los Angeles, they basically, when they audition you, that's when they want to see the performance, the finished performance. They don't, rarely do they say, listen, give me some more here, or bring it up here, or, make her creepier here, or scary, or older. It's basically they hire you because they like your audition, so they usually don't give you too much instruction unless you're not doing kind of what they want you to do. In that case, then they say, you know what, bring her down here, whisper this, or really yell this line. But that rarely happens because again, they usually cast people in Los Angeles according to your finished audition performance. It's a strange animal, but they kind of they see whatever you do, they're like, okay, that's what you did. We're going to hire her because she's got blonde hair, not the oh no, she doesn't have red hair, we can't hire her. They kind of look for the finished product, so it's kind of interesting. I'm looking at, I worked with Barbara Goodson. She did Mother Talzin's voice.
Yeah.
She played Mother Talzin. Barbara and I have worked together on other things. We've done some other voice jobs together, so I know Barbara. She's incredibly talented.
Nice, that's really cool. Definitely. So my final question is, what were you told about Old Daka's character before you recorded any lines for her?
Nothing. They give you the script, you read it, you come up with ideas, you audition, as I said. They like the quality, and they really don't. I mean, we do a little homework myself and kind of researching who she is, what she is, and there's all these chanting and what kind of sounds and that might be like. And sometimes, you watch some other episodes to get a feel for the series or the show that you're doing, if there's an opportunity to do that. But as far as, people saying this is what the show is or the character is, no, it's up to you to do it yourself. So I do my own research.
Nice.
And then make it up, because it's we're playing.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, thank you very much, Kathleen, for answering my questions, and I'll let Lizzie ask hers now.
Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm having a great day and so happy to be talking to you guys.
Ha, wonderful. It's our pleasure to have you on. Right, so my first question for you, which you sort of answered, but maybe you can give a bit more detail. How does voice acting compare to live acting to you, and which do you prefer?
Wow. I like it all. I don't, I can't say preferred. I've done a lot of audiobooks too, so you sit in a small booth and you record and you're reading a book and you act your heart out. I try to put my heart into everything I do, so I don't think I really have a preference. I've done tons of stage, and that was my favorite thing for years because you really connect with the audience and you had that live experience. I've also seen, which I've liked to actually do, is these radio shows where people actually talking into a microphone, reading a book, or reading a role from a play or something, and it's sort of a staged reading, and that's fun too. It's kind of similar because you're not memorized, you're not up book, but you're acting your heart out. You're putting everything into it. So the theater, I would say, would be number one, but right now I'm just working so much on television, there really isn't time. But I'm telling you, sometimes when I get 30, 40 pages, I have to memorize for tomorrow.
Oh, gosh.
Or I can do an animation and they say here, or an audiobook, and you can sit in the booth and just read. I'm like, let me think about this.
As a university student, I can kind of relate to having to memorize 30 to 40 pages for one day.
Right? Exactly. And the pressure, it's very, it's very intense. It's very high. And these are more fun. I mean, there isn't that kind of pressure because you do put your heart into it. You do find the character and you work it up, the character, just the same as you would anything else. Where am I strong? Where am I soft? Where am I crying? Where am I happy? Crazy. You come up with all the character choices the same way when you're acting on camera or in the theater. But you don't have to memorize every single word because you can read them. That's a nice thing.
Wonderful. No, I probably should have mentioned stage acting, so sorry if I only mentioned live acting. Right, my next question for you is, which of your roles do you most identify with? And this could be anything, not just Star Wars.
That I identify with?
Yeah. Or which do you even feel most proud of?
Right now I'm on a show. It's called General Hospital. It's a soap opera in North America, and I think they also played in England. If I'm not mistaken, it also airs there. I don't know if you've heard of it or you know of it. It's been on 51 years practice, almost 51 years it's been running. I've been on this show about a year and a half. I'm playing a German psychiatrist, very evil, kind of like a combination of Inspector Clouseau and somebody else. It's very dark, but there's humor in it. So there's some comedy, but she's dark and she's evil, and there's some comic relief. So that's a role I just absolutely adore, and that's the role that I'm working on. I also loved working on 24. Did a couple seasons as the First Lady of Russia, as I mentioned, Anya Suvorov, and I really identified with her because my family's from Hungary. They came out in 1956, went to Canada as immigrants. But I really grew up with that Eastern European mentality and thinking, and I loved that woman. I loved that role. It wasn't as developed as I wish it had been, but I really identified with her. She was very poised and elegant and really trying to keep a good front. Meanwhile, there's a lot of dark things going down, but she was always very classy and sophisticated and strong. And I loved her qualities. And yes, she was a very gentle person underneath all the layers. So there's a couple of, things that I've done that mean a lot to me. I love all the work that I do. I mean, every time I work on something, to me, that's my favorite thing, is whatever I'm doing right then. So it's kind of not fair to really say what's my favorite, because usually what you're doing at the time, that's your favorite thing, because you can identify with your work. Yeah. Because
you're putting so much effort and attention towards one thing in that given time.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of guest starring roles on shows. I don't know if you get these in England, but Fairly Legal, Covert Affairs, Arrow.
Honestly, not sure. Daniel, Rory, do we?
I'm not sure either, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, I see yours goes on Desperate Housewives, Leverage, NCIS, Bones, ER.
I know we get Arrow. That's all I know, but I definitely know we get Arrow.
Arrow.
I mean, all this sounds very familiar because I've got family in the States. I lived in the States for 4 years. I visit it a few times a year, so I don't know.
I was in feature films too, like Transformers, Dark of the Moon. I played the Russian bartender, the owner who takes out a shotgun and trying to shoot everyone. You know, and a lot of feature films. There's a film called The Future and Little Birds with Juno Temple. I believe she's an English actress. You guys probably know her, Juno Temple.
Yeah.
Anyway, I played the therapist opposite her in Little Birds, and you know, so it just depends. Different films, and Meet the Fockers, and the Russian woman having a baby, screaming. And Ben Stiller, "You're not doctor." So you know, I love comedy, love drama, whatever the job is. That's kind of, you know, I love the versatility, love doing accents or not, whatever the job requires.
Wonderful. I did have a third question for you. However, both Daniel and Ruby answered it before, asked it beforehand, and I'd hate to make you answer it a third time. Thanks, lads.
You're welcome.
Let me see if I can come up with something different.
You are most welcome.
Well, I was
Happy
going
to
to
oblige.
Sorry?
Happy to oblige.
We shall deliver the penance later.
Well, I was going to ask you how you went about getting the role, since it was so different from the roles you played in the past, but your agent called you and you were offered the role.
Yes, I went. I mean, a lot of times, this role that I'm doing right now on General Hospital, I met the casting person 14 years ago, and they remembered me, and they called up my agent and said, we'd like to see her for this part. So it's so individual. You know, in Los Angeles, I don't know how it works in England, but here you have an agent. Sometimes they get you auditions, sometimes they don't. Sometimes people remember you. Sometimes the director calls because they remember you. So you get work from all sorts of avenues. You know, they come in from different directions.
Right.
But this particular
Wonderful.
job came from my voice agent, which was unusual. They actually called, I auditioned, and I booked the job. And it's like, okay. So it was a special, kind of a rare experience.
Right. Lovely. And my last question for you is, has acting in the Clone Wars made you more interested in the Star Wars universe? Were you a Star Wars fan beforehand? Had you even seen any of it beforehand?
Not the video, none of that, to be honest. No, I had such a busy schedule. I rarely watch television. I try to get to the movies, you know, a couple times a month, but I work so much that it's really, really hard. But I grew up with Star Wars. My dad loved it. So when I was a kid, you know, we definitely grew up watching Star Wars and going to the movies, you know. So that, yes, absolutely. But
so
watch on TV now. Sorry.
So I imagine you're a lot more familiar with the original trilogy than the prequels and what came later.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you have a favourite of the original 3 films?
The first one.
Episode 3, not 3, 4.
1970. You guys weren't even born then.
In mind, I was.
Dan gets a name wrong. I get an episode wrong.
Star Wars Episode 4 and New Hope are just Star Wars as it was back then. There you go.
Yeah.
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 No, just you know, the very beginning, the first, you know, when I was a kid, it was so cool.
Yeah, the Star Destroyer heading after the Tantive 4, definitely.
Oh, that's just endless.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for answering those questions and for answering one question for the third time in a row. Thanks again, lads. Thanks very much. I'm going to pass you on to Graham now.
Hello. My first question is, as a voice actress, sort of in general, what sort of method do you usually take to get your required voice? Do you base any of your roles off of like anything in particular?
You know what? It's interesting because there's certain actors that I just love their style and or their voice or there's something, but there's only so much you can do. You know, you have your own instrument. It's your own, so you have to bring the qualities. I have a pretty big range from, I do a lot of like baby, you know, little kid voices to very deep, old people. And I think as I'm getting older, my voice is getting deeper. So that's where the level of it is. And then I see some performances and I go, oh, I love the way they talk, or I love the tempo or the rhythm. You know, some actors have their own little style, like Peter Falk did. You know, certain actors, I just love what they bring to the table. And so I like to think that it's my own style. I don't really think I feel from anybody. But when I'm actually acting, there's something like Christoph Waltz, I think is brilliant. And I love his style, you know, the way he looks. But that's more on camera, I have to think. You know, I'm thinking of some of the stuff that I look at and I go, oh, that's so great. That's so, the attitude. Maybe it's more of an attitude or something that I admire in people, and I try to incorporate that. But vocally, that's kind of hard.
Yeah, are there any like other actors that you sort of aspire to be like, or are there any other actors that you sort of look up to? I mean, minus maybe Christoph Waltz.
You know what? There are absolutely, there's some, I mean, Anthony Hopkins to me is brilliant. Kate Blanchett, Kate Winslet. I mean, these are actors that are just amazing. I worked with Ray Fine on Sunshine, and I thought he was brilliant. You know, I've been very fortunate to work with some great actors. Robin Williams, to me, is just phenomenal. He's a phenomenal human being. He's a brilliant comedian, great actor. So, yeah, they're always, you know, some Jessica Lange. There's some actors that I just go, wow. You know, I work a lot, and I love being an actress, but there's some people I go, you know what? They are brilliant. I'm a good, strong actor. Those guys are geniuses. You know, it's like, yeah, I'd like to be like that. Sure. But you take the gift that you've been given and your talents, and you know, you have to go with them. But I certainly have people I look up to. Absolutely. Exactly. I studied ballet in my youth, and I loved Margot Fonteyn. I was just so mesmerized by her. She was just an amazing dancer. So,
and roughly how long have you been acting in general? Like, when did it all sort of start?
You know what? I was 3 years old, basically, and my father was a symphony conductor. My mother was an opera singer. We grew up in the arts, a sister and I, and I just really connected to it. I felt the need to express myself through music and dancing and acting, and when I was 8 years old, I wrote a play in school and starred in it and directed it, produced it. I've been doing it for several decades, shall we say, but professionally, I would say about 30 years.
Wow. That's amazing. My final question is, would you ever consider a role in Star Wars Rebels, should you ever be offered one? Dave Filoni's new show?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? That'd be so much fun.
Thanks very much.
Are you offering me roles? I'm afraid, yeah.
if I had that much power, yes, but unfortunately, I don't seem to have that much power as of right now. But anyway, that's all my questions. So, Marie, is there anything else that we need to? Any fan?
Yeah, throw the spotlight at me.
Yes, we'll just wait.
But Daniel's been getting names wrong, so
yeah,
I look at the next person who hasn't knocked anything up yet.
Yeah, just the guy who mispronounces every name he comes across until today. That's advisable.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My website at the end of each episode is just testament of that.
No. I'm going to get it right today.
Well,
in all fairness, you actually got it right the last couple of times.
I got it right the first time.
Yes,
yeah, we did get it right the first time.
No need to nag. No need to nag.
Yeah. Actually, that maybe is, but anyway, Daniel, you know what the drill.
It's time for fan calls, I believe. So you know the drill. Either if you have channel 1138 on Skype, simply just call them and they'll add you in. Or if you've got me or Rory, contact us. And also, if you'd like to ask any questions, we are now open, obviously. So yes, for fan questions, go ahead.
Fan call fun time.
Yeah, it's fan.
It's really not your day today, is it?
Trouble speaking?
Never mind names. I think he is having a problem speaking at all.
I've been hanging around Dandrew for too long.
Make excuses.
mean.
But that's me being nice to him. Trust me.
Bear with us, Kathleen. This is a normal day on the Voice of the Republic.
Yeah, sounds like fun. You guys are having a great time. Love it.
Yeah. Actually, a normal day is me messing up in some way or another.
So it's not a normal day.
What am I saying? This isn't a normal day. I haven't mentioned Nemoidians yet.
Oh God, you
Yeah,
just
I was
mentioned
looking
it.
for the notes. I was expecting to see your Nemoidian question there somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't want to make Kathleen feel awkward on the air.
Isn't it kind of ironic? I mean, the one day I have a cold on the podcast, I can actually speak normally. I need to get sick more often.
Need to give you a colder week.
Anyway, I'll give you a couple minutes, and then I'm going to have to run and get back to work. So what would you guys like to know? I'm happy to talk to somebody, then I'm going to run.
We're just waiting to see if any of our listeners have any questions for you, but should only.
Okay, well, then I'm going to run. It was really nice talking to you guys. Thank you for having me on.
It's been a pleasure having you join us on the podcast.
Okay.
Thanks for your time, Kathleen.
Okay, guys, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
That was a fun interview.
That was fun, yeah. Short but sweet.
Yeah. 27 minutes, short but sweet. And
Now, if Dan's got names wrong, I've got episodes wrong. Ruby, what are you going to get wrong?
nothing. This is my good week.
Life choices.
What? Life choices. Actually, speaking of Ron, do you want to know what Skype has been doing, Ron?
What isn't it doing wrong?
Ever since the call started until Kathleen hung up just there, it was saying when the blue bar when someone's talking. Well, Kathleen's was on Graham's user.
That was on my one too. I thought something was wrong.
Daniel's on Lizzie's.
Yeah, it was the same with me.
I thought, okay, great. Graham has a slightly sort of higher pitched voice than your average male, so
I'm an expert voice actor now. Just James, eat your heart out.
So, and in other news, we have episode 7 years in rumors before this derails again.
This is like the third time ever.
But yes. First up, we have Michael Arndt pulls out of episode 7.
oh my gosh, that's a lot of actors there.
This was only announced yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, that's crew. I think crew members, not actors. But anyway, I just want to say something first on the Michael Arndt topic. I've been between resting and doing the podcast and that's all. I haven't had a lot of time to check the community. But as far as my eyes can tell, there's been a lot of uproar about it, and all like, they're gonna have to start from scratch, and they'll definitely not get the movie done in 2015.
That's what I'm reading as well.
Yeah, and I'm like,
falls out. They're not going to do anything more with it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, seriously? I mean, sure, Michael Arndt was writing it. I don't think it's gonna, they're writing a whole other story. I'd say really what's going on is that, Michael Arndt, he wasn't going to be there for the whole thing because he has other projects to do. I'd say he only was going to be there for a certain amount of time and then pull out and work on said other projects. So it did say J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan have taken over writing duties. That's the heavy emphasis. Taken over. If it was going to be a complete rewrite, they would say that in the announcement. I mean, taken over just highlights really that I think it's going to be, they're just going from there with it now. I'd say pretty much 100% Michael Arndt did his job. Now he's moving on his life, and he has every right to move on because he does have a lot of people after him to write stuff. So really, I think, there's some websites out there have been a bit scumbag-like. Yeah, well, not throwing it mildly, but scumbag-like, and just trying to make a big deal out of it, get all the Star Wars fans scared and riled up. Yeah. I really don't think it's actually as serious as that. I just think Arndt did his job, now he's gone.
So they're essentially the Gordon Godfrey of the Star Wars universe.
You could say that, yeah. But seriously, I mean, I really think it's just a big fuss over nothing. I genuinely think that JJ and Lawrence are just finishing the job essentially. Definitely. That Michael Arndt tuned it, and now they're you're just finishing the job, editing it ever so slightly to get it perfect. I really think that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I don't know
Definitely.
what you all think about it.
Well, the way I see it is there was already a storyline laid out already, so I'd have to agree that they're only putting on finishing touches, because the storyline was already put in place and it was already in development. So, yeah, I mean, I'd say they're just finishing stuff off. If anything, this is a good sign that they're actually getting down to the deeper stuff. I mean, the story's the easy part. All the other stuff that goes after that is the bit that's the kick in the ass, really. But, I mean, so yeah, to me, it's a good sign. So,
one other thing I do want to point out, I mean, lots of people are like, "Whoa, this announcement's come so soon about Michael ain't leaving," and I'm like, well, if you think about it, not really. I mean, sure, we got the announcement that Michael was running it. What was it, November last year? I mean, they only announce it, things like these, up to half a year after they've actually been working on it. Around that 3 months to half a year, I'd say, is the time frame. So I think Michael was working on it much longer than just when he was announced as the screenwriter last year. Yeah, that's another thing I want to get. In fact, I'd say Michael had actually left a bit before this announcement was made, but no, I still feel that he had done his job. I really think there's nothing more to it. I don't want to repeat myself, so I'll get back to Daniel.
It's just like, well, if you excuse me, there's some mojitos in Hawaii that have my name on it. See you, JJ.
You never know.
You see JJ, everyone's just like holding the script, looking like really, really worried at it. Just like, how am I supposed to finish this?
Yeah, sounds a bit like.
His glass is just there fogging up.
Yeah, but what do you make of it, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you've both said. The work from Michael Arndt has really been done. The script's sort of been done, and obviously now they've just left Abrams and Lawrence to touch up and just refine final details and change a few things around and make sure everything's perfect. But I mean, it's not really an ordeal to go mental and start like throwing bricks at Disney's walls because Michael Arndt's left, sort of thing.
One thing I actually wanted to bring up before I give Lizzie a chance to give her opinion is, I mean, sure, okay, it's leading up into the next point, but I won't mention any names as of yet. I mean, we got pretty much the full crew announcement list yesterday, those who are working behind the scenes on the film on episode 7. But realistically, it was announced October 24th for these crew members. I don't think they've been working on it since yesterday. I'd say that they've been working on it for a long time, maybe up to a month or two after episode 7 was originally announced. I think they've probably been working on it that long that they only got announced now. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 months, bit quick, but certainly they've been working on it since some point this year. And there's some point this year, I don't mean since yesterday. Yeah, in fact, on NBC, it's actually kind of funny, because thinking back on it now, you know, one of the announcements, which we'll talk about in a minute, was Ben Bear, and I'm like thinking,
Lutro's Delphine!
Yeah, whatever. And the thing I'm just like thinking now is, okay, I met Ben Bear at Celebration Europe in Germany in July. What if he was even working on it then and I didn't know? I mean, that's kind of a weird thought. But yeah, it's certainly plausible. Yeah, I definitely think they've been working on it for a while. They're only getting the announcements out now. Yep, so Lizzie, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you very much. I don't have too great or too drastic an opinion one way or the other. On the one hand, I want to say, like, you know, it's like what you said. His job is done, and, you know, that's it. It's not like we haven't had input from him. It's not like he hasn't contributed to it. It's not like he hasn't played his role in it. And it's not like his input, however big or small, isn't going to make it better. You know, is it going to contribute to it being the best it could possibly be? We've still got a pretty damn good team between Kasdan and Abrams. I mean, I've finally come around to JJ doing it. Because, I mean, well, frankly, he did. I mean, I'm not a Trekkie, and I don't know, the films just don't really take my interest. But I saw a few clips of, I think it was Into Darkness when I was in the States, and my mother was watching it. She absolutely fell in love with it. She's a bit of a sci-fi fan, actually. In fact, it was actually at her insistence that I saw Star Wars for the first time. So thanks, Mum. But based on what she said, and based upon what a lot of other people have said, he did a very good job with it, and that Star Wars is actually in very safe hands as far as J.J. Abrams is concerned. We're not going to go into Disney. So, yeah, I mean, again, I don't have too great an opinion of it, but as it stands, like I said, I think he's played his role, he's contributed, he's done his part. His contribution is now forever going to be in the history of Episode 7. And we've still got a good team left over. So I'm just going to leave it at that and see how it goes.
Yeah. So moving on, we have quite a list of announcements, Daniel, wouldn't you say? All of the crew members, in fact.
Yes, definitely. It's quite a long one. Do you want one by one or all together?
One by one, and then we'll discuss the pros and cons, if there are any.
Our first crew member announcement is Ben Burt, sound designer.
Yeah. Sound designer.
Lushro's Dauphine.
But he's been hired as a sound designer.
Nemoidian.
Stop talking about Nemoidians.
Never.
But sound designer. He's been hired as that. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, I'm personally very excited for this. I mean, it only makes sense because, you know, he's worked on all of the Star Wars movies before doing the sound designs. He only played a Nemoidian in one. I had to get down there for Lizzie's benefit.
Yes.
Actually, no, in this case, I think it actually might be for your benefit. Think
No,
about that.
not really. That didn't benefit me at all.
Think about the repercussions if you didn't mention that.
No, I really don't see how it benefited me at all.
It benefited life, trust me.
Oh my god.
What? Anyway, yeah. So he has worked on all of the Star Wars films doing the sounds. So, I mean, he's done some of the most iconic sounds, especially in the original trilogy. I mean, it only makes sense for him to come back to this, and I'm very excited to see him returning to Star Wars, because we've got a good number of people who've done Star Wars work before returning, now confirmed before, like John Williams. So it's great how many people they're getting back. So yeah, it's really great. And Ben will come up with some more great sound themes. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he comes up with this time, and he'll definitely do a great job. Plus, he was a very nice guy at Celebration, I have to say. So yeah, Daniel, what do you think about Ben's return?
It'll definitely be good to see. And yes, he's going to be doing music this time, Lizzie, just in case you didn't know. But yes, it'll definitely be good to see what he does in the new movies, and especially since we've seen him in all the other Star Wars movies so far, it'll definitely be interesting to see what he can do this time.
Definitely, Graham.
Blue is a color.
What?
Blue is a color.
Blue is a color?
Oh, come on. My Nemoidian comments were more... You know.
I just don't really have much to say about it other than sure. You know, I don't really mind.
Okay, that was an interesting comment. Lizzie, have you got anything other than you know what?
No.
I'm not going to mention Nemoidians, don't worry.
But you just did.
Paradox.
Yeah.
Okay, just say what you want to say on Ben Bear and let's move on.
We've got a Nemoidian actor in working on episode 7. That's...
Technically, he's not an actor.
He was Lushro's
Oh my
insane.
god! Ah!
The voice.
A voice is.
No,
Hey, we had Mark Silk on Everything Geek podcast a few weeks ago doing the voice of Teihao/Silunch. Are you really going to start on whether or not voice actors really get? We just had a voice actress as a guest. Are you really about to talk about how important or unimportant voice actresses are?
No, that's not what I was getting at. Just what you took it into. No, I love Daniel just whistling in the background.
Oh, he's snoring. That's what I was
Okay.
on. Sorry.
Okay,
that's
being serious now. Sorry about that noise. My phone went off.
I don't hear anything.
You
It's like
didn't hear that? Oh my gosh. Anyway, no, being. I can never get it. I am not taken seriously here. No.
Of course not.
Being serious here, yes, it's good news. We've got a familiar face. We've got someone who's done very good work in the past. I take that as good news, and he was Lucius Dothin.
Oh my god.
I love how
Wait,
one
you
of
know,
our. I love how one of our.
how many times that Nemoidian is mentioned.
Yeah, I love how one of our listeners, Dario, in the live chat is now asking who's sleeping, and the reply.
I was wondering that too. I heard someone like fake snoring.
Yeah,
That was me.
And apparently
That's
I'm
what I was laughing at. That's why I first started randomly.
So, in other news, we also have Matthew Wood supervising sound director.
General Grievous!
We've seen in Star Wars episodes 1 to 3 and also Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah, he'll do a great job as
Oh,
well.
definitely, he will.
I mean, he's been working on Star Wars for so long now. I mean, all of the prequels, doing sounds, the Clone Wars, he really came into as one of the main sound people with David Acorn. I mean, they did a lot of really cool sounds for the show during the time of the show, obviously. And of course, he's no slouch for voice acting either. You know, General Grievous, Battle Droids, and many others. So yeah, I mean, it's great that Matthew is returning as well. I mean, that's pretty cool. Arguably one of the biggest sound designers from the original trilogy, and arguably one of the biggest from the prequels working together. That's going to be really cool to see, and can't wait to see what Ben and Matt come up with working together. That'll be cool. Yeah.
Definitely be good to see what he does, and obviously a working part of the new movies. So.
Definitely. So, Graham, what do you think? And hopefully you have a bit more to your comment this time.
Maybe you'll see red as a colour.
No, but seriously though, all jokes aside, yeah, I mean, yeah, sound is a very important. No, seriously though, sound is a very important thing when it comes to this sort of process. So yeah, that's all I've really got to say about it. There's not much else I can really say because I don't really know too much about it other than how vital it is to something this big. Because I think one thing that Star Wars relies mostly upon is its unique sounds. So, yeah, sure, why the hell not? Over to you, Izzy.
She probably won't want to talk because it's not a Neimoidian.
Huh? Oh. Sorry, was I being called in? I didn't hear my name.
No, we just randomly said Lizzie because, you know, that's your name.
Yeah. What do you think about Matthew Wood returning?
Well, again, a familiar face. He's done fantastic work on the prequels and the Clone Wars. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up working on Rebels if that hasn't already been confirmed.
No, I don't think they've actually mentioned any of the crew aside from the executive producers and some of the old Clone Wars crew.
So there's no confirmation yet?
No.
But either way, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up working on Rebels as well. He's done good work. I mean, why not? He like Graham said, people like that can be very, very vital to creating the best possible experience for this film for both the fans and arguably the people working on the film. So Matt Wood, very definitely a great asset to have. Also, very nice chap. I met him at Celebration 4 and he did not seem at all weirded out by the fact that when I was 15 I had a massive crush on General Grievous's feet. Very cool feet, what can I say?
I don't know, maybe you like his 6 fingers too.
Okay.
Actually, I think I want to take that back.
Oh God. Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah, just for once, I think I want to take that back. Anyway, on another subject, while we're still talking about Matt Wood, I want to point out one thing I'm changing subject. Will you let me talk?
Please.
Yeah, the guy Matt Wood, and the sound, all that. One thing I wish I got to watch more of them now. I just don't find the time. But when at the start of season 5 of the Clone Wars, I was watching a few of the commentators, and I watched one of the Onderon ones. I think it was probably Tipping Points, the last episode of the year, where he mentioned about how he and David Acord, the other sound designer on the Clone Wars, came up with the sounds for the droid gunship vehicles, and how they got it by merging multiple vehicle sounds together, like a truck, the few others I believe it was. I thought that was really cool and interesting. It was, and honestly, I wouldn't have noticed it if you hadn't pointed out the way it was various different real life vehicle sounds went into one. I mean, I wouldn't have noticed that if you didn't say in that video. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, now I'm done.
And moving on to our next cast to get our minds off what just happened. Dan Mendel, director of photography, who we saw in Star Trek Into Darkness, Mission Impossible 3, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, of course, I do have to point out The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is his current work. He hasn't actually done it. Well, he's doing it.
Sorry.
One job, Daniel.
No, I just pointed it out.
No, Graham. Rory had one job because I read what Rory writes.
We could look up stuff.
Well, that's what Rory got wrong tonight.
Actually,
Dan got names, I got episodes, Rory got everything.
Actually, I always intended to mention on the podcast that, so I didn't get anything wrong. Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Dan Mendel, director of photography. I mean, he got a lot of good credits to his name, previous projects and upcoming ones too. I mean, yeah, I'd say it's obvious that J.J. Abrams just a lot, and what people will gradually notice the more he gets these crew members is that a lot of them have been involved with J.J. Abrams projects, which I'm totally cool with. I mean, some of them have done great jobs, definitely, with J.J. working on films like he's, of course, this one, Dan Mendel, the director of photography, he's done both of J.J. Star Trek films, Star Trek and Into Darkness. Mission Impossible 3, I believe, is another J.J. Abrams movie.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong. No, thank you. So I mean, J.J. obviously trusts him. I mean, I haven't seen any problems with the photography Dan did for the film. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to Star Wars, definitely. Yeah, so Graham, what do you reckon of this one?
Well, personally, I mean, I'll put it this way. Abrams has worked with this guy before, so obviously he seems to know what the hell he's doing. So yeah.
Yeah, Daniel.
Well, yeah, I agree with Graham. I mean, I'm not really familiar with him. Obviously, he's done Star Trek and all that, but if he's worked with JJ, then obviously JJ has confidence in him.
Like getting the right set and all that sort of stuff is very important.
Yeah.
So you can't say, "Oh yeah, it's Star Wars," and have it set out in a field and say, "Yeah, it's Coruscant."
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was Naboo. Nah, this is how Coruscant really looks.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like some guy going along on a tractor. Hello there. How are you?
Or if you wanted to make Graham's
Oh my gosh, a poor man's Coruscant.
Yeah, or if you wanted to make Graham's nightmare, it would be Jar Jar Binks and the tractor.
Exactly. That would be my 10th circle of hell.
Yeah.
Oh
I just feel that Graham's the only one here who dislikes Jar Jar, I think.
Coruscant on a budget.
He said go farming now.
I want
Discount
to
shop
Jar Jar's tongue
Coruscant.
and attach it to the top of the freaking Empire state building and see how far he goes down after I push him off.
On a happier note, Lizzie, what do you think? Not of Graham's Jar idea, I mean of the director of photography, obviously.
Although you can agree with the Jar Jar thing too.
If only Skype could actually transmit the look on my face at the moment.
You wouldn't want to see the look on my face.
Okay. Again, I don't have a very strong opinion of this. Honestly, I don't have too great a knowledge of crew members, except the really big ones again, like Ben Burt, Matt Wood, people like that. But I mean, it was like you said, if JJ trusts him, if he's done some good work, then who are we to judge? For now.
Yeah.
For
now.
He could be judged quite differently.
Next up, we have Rick Carter, production designer, who was in Avatar and Forrest Gump.
Avatar!
Oh, God.
Avatar's my favourite film after Star Wars.
I've never seen it. I've never seen Avatar.
It's so good. You don't know what you're missing.
Yes, I'm missing a 3-hour torture movie.
Even if you hate it, it is visually the most beautiful film I have ever seen. I mean, nothing, not even the most amazing scenes in Star Wars or the Clone Wars compares. It is so gorgeous. It's
the Star Wars prequel trilogies, however, and the Star Wars original trilogies, however, that stuff's a hell of a lot better than Avatar.
I don't want to waste 3 hours in a cinema watching Avatar when I can watch Star Wars.
Then watch it at home.
It's not as fun at home.
You're hopeless.
Yeah, I mean, production designer, I don't want to get too much into detail on Avatar because, as Lizzie says, I mean, visually it looks great. I mean, I won't get into the other areas of it, but yeah, production designers, I mean, that's to do with visuals, I think, so yeah, pretty good. And Forrest Gump, yeah, that was a good movie. I enjoyed that one. And if you don't enjoy it, watch it. Because
if you haven't seen Forrest Gump, it's like the box of chocolates. Just never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. And it's usually a delight. But yeah. Yeah, it has some really interesting credits. I mean, most of the others that we see here, like around the same thing, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, or Star Wars, Rick Carter, he's like, got credits that are completely different from any of the others. So
with the box guy.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll do a good job. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, what do you reckon, Daniel?
Oh, well, hopefully, I mean, he does a good job. I mean, I'm not really familiar with him and all that, but as long as he does a good job and JJ trusts him in doing it, then it should be good.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Graham?
So I don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, I don't know too much about it personally. I mean, I don't know about that sort of area of the production team in general, so I'd only be rambling on about total crap for about 10 minutes, so you're probably better off moving on for me anyway.
Well, I just want to get this out of the way now. I think Avatar is beyond underappreciated.
Okay, Avatar, it's like you gave Joe Swanson his own movie, enough said, now.
Right, I am going to mute you while I talk. No, I think it's beyond underappreciated. I think, like with everything, when it came out, half the population of Earth went and saw it and said, "Oh, it looks so cool, you have to go and see it." And then it caught on, and the hipsters took over, and of course people started saying, "Of course it's cool, so therefore it sucks," or "It's so cool that it's bad," or or even just "It's so cool that it's overappreciated." Well, I never got any impression that it was overappreciated. I thought it was underappreciated, and I think that people need to go back and revisit it with an open mind, and look at it as beyond something that's science fiction or just telling a story, and just look at all this sort of the different details of it again, in like through science or philosophy or even like theology. Anyway, that out of the way. Seeing a chap from Avatar now working on Star Wars Episode 7, That's encouraging for me.
It's
Just
so
gonna say
good
that.
that I use it as, it's so good I use it as a bedtime story to go to sleep easier. That's how good it is.
But yeah, I mean, what I will agree with Lizzie is that visually it's great. I mean, I have to disagree with Lizzie. I think it's overrated rather than underappreciated, but we won't get into it too much on this podcast. And I can
Yeah,
tell I'm
you can
being
wait till
muted
next
right
week.
now.
You
No,
can wait till next week, Lizzie. Oh, sorry, tomorrow.
No. No. But yeah, I
Yes.
mean, I'm looking.
Yes.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the designs he comes up with. So yeah, yeah, that was a bit weird, Daniel. That was a bit too much. But yeah, I mean,
And we
we'll
also have
see what
another
comes up.
production designer, Darren Guilford, who was in Oblivion and Tron Legacy.
Yeah, haven't seen both of those, so even I can't comment this time. Anyone?
Well,
Anyone seen it?
Tron Legacy, although I didn't really like the film, it was pretty. And same with Oblivion, like, yeah, I mean, but like, I'm more of a story guy when it comes to films. But like, if Star Wars Episode 7 holds up with the whole good story thing, which I'm very confident that it will, I think if they get the perfect balance between good story and excellent visuals, then, you know, screw it. I'm happy.
What do you reckon, Daniel or Lizzie?
I can't really comment on this either because I've not seen any of these films.
You're probably better off.
In a good way or a bad way?
I'd rather watch The Room by Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and Lizzie, do you have anything to say? Or am I still muted?
No, very funny. Again, I haven't seen either Oblivion or Tron. I heard various things about Oblivion. I heard a couple people say it was very good. I heard the majority of people say, however, that it was very underwhelming. So that's slightly less good news. I did hear good things about Tron Legacy, though, and interestingly, I think I don't even think. I know it actually even made it into a Kingdom Hearts game. Whether that's actually a good sign or not, I don't know. But on the Oblivion front, I don't want to read too much into it because I mean, Oblivion may have just been, an old one out. Everyone's gonna have one bad film that they do. I mean, you can't avoid it. So I don't want to judge him too much based on Oblivion, and I can't really say anything because I haven't seen Tron Legacy. But I don't know. I want to say that maybe he's going to add something more to an already pretty fantastic sounding team.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? For all we know, this could be Dan Guilford's big break, really, and well, in a good way, of course. That working on Episode 7 as a production designer could, make him a lot more well known. Because the sense of it, Oblivion, Tron Legacy didn't really do it for him, maybe, but who knows? Maybe Episode 7 will change his luck, or career, I should say, really. Yeah. So moving on, we've got a costume designer, I believe.
Yeah, Michael Kaplan, who did for Star Trek Into Darkness, Mission Impossible, and Ghost Protocol.
Actually, it's all one name. Look, Daniel and his names again.
Excuse me, let me go on Face Desk.
I guess you could say that his endeavors in trying to get stuff right is a Mission Impossible.
That's actually a good one. But yeah, I mean, costume designer's pretty cool. I mean, I'd like to have that job personally. I think it's a good one. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see some of the costumes he comes up with and outfits and all. Basically, I'm just getting excited now about all these, crew members and thinking which ones will be at Star Wars conventions in the future few years. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I went for a few years.
That's all you're worried about.
Yeah, really, it is.
Oh, like in all fairness, the costumes in Into Darkness were great in my opinion. Like especially the Klingons, I thought their costumes were pretty cool. But I mean, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, there wasn't really much to do with costumes in that, other than sort of like special ops gear and stuff. But hey, you know, it looks cool, and like I suppose the whole sort of Star Trek Into Darkness background with the costume designing there is sort of a good idea for importing that into Star Wars in general. So I think that at the end of the day, the costume designs should be, for take a better phrase, pretty badass.
Definitely.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Daniel or Lizzie? Whichever.
Ladies first.
Such a gentleman.
Wouldn't that be you, Daniel?
Oh!
Sorry, you had that one.
That's the last time I let ladies go first. So yeah, costume designer will be.
Just let yourself go first, though.
I think Daniel's going to abandon his own podcast.
Yeah, I can just see the little cursor going over the end call button.
Sorry, Daniel, come back.
Baby, come back.
Yeah, I think Lizzie should give her opinion while Daniel's away.
I'm sorry, Dan, I didn't mean it.
Lizzie, opinion?
Who are we on? I've lost track at this point. Michael Kaplan?
Yeah, Michael Kaplan, costume designer.
Haven't seen either of the films he's worked on, so again, I can't judge. I don't know. Everyone says Star Trek Into Darkness was good, so maybe that's a good thing. The only thing I care, if this is a costume design, the only thing I care about is that he captures the spirit and the idea of Star Wars as it's been done in the past.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then fine. You know what? Hire your next door neighbor if they can do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he obviously captured the Star Trek feel with Into Darkness, as Graham said a moment ago. So yeah, I definitely think he will know what he's doing if he doesn't already. Daniel's snorting in the background. So what's the funny story, Mr. Scotsman?
He probably looks down.
What? Oh my.
Right, that's
Daniel.
it. I'm done.
Poor Daniel. So anyway, Daniel, what do you have to say about the costume designer? We can hear you typing.
That's me.
Oh, stop typing.
Are you on Facebook?
No, she's typing in the live chat. Daniel, do I have to run this podcast without you again, Daniel?
Daniel, I didn't mean it. Come back.
I think I'm actually going to have to.
I didn't mean it, Dan. I'm so sorry.
It was okay. I'm getting lost now. Hi. If the costumes are good, then yeah, it'll definitely be worth it, and especially since it's been in Star Trek. I mean, J.J. Abrams know what he's done, and he's done some good costumes. So yeah.
Definitely.
Sorry, I had to go. I had to go and punch a wall for a second.
Another one. You'll break your fist at some point.
I've got no walls now. I'm just sitting outside. But yes.
Yeah, moving on to a special effects supervisor.
That is Chris Corbould, and the James Bond Skyfall, The Dark Knight Rises, and Inception.
So yeah,
This is a triple win for me personally.
Yeah, some different, ones in there as well again, because, I don't think any of the others who are in the crew list have done those. James Bond Skyfall is easily one of the best James Bonds out there. I know I still haven't got into watching the Dark Knight trilogy. I feel really bad for it, but, I've heard the Dark Knight Rises was amazing, so and the effects were really good from a trailer I saw, and I did see a trailer. So yeah, that should be good. And Inception, I think with Inception, even if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's such a big name movie that even if you haven't seen it, the majority have probably heard of it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
like this setup is like a triple win for me personally because the effects in Skyfall were great. It has the realistic vibe, right? And then The Dark Knight Rises has sort of the realistic vibe as well, but it can be dragged out a little bit more because it's based off a comic book, you know? And Inception, I could talk for hours about the special effects on Inception in general, like the whole sort of the ground turning upwards, like concave and convex, like the entire atmosphere itself bending around itself. And then, I mean, I have to say, the effects for Inception is great. I mean, there was one bit where, like, they lost gravity or something like that. I don't want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, although, you know, I assume most people have. But anyway, there's a bit where, like, one of the main characters is just sort of, like, floating around. And, you know, this is Star Wars. They're in space, so they're going to be doing a lot of that. So I'm assuming that they're going to have to integrate that into Star Wars in general. So if we get Star Wars with the effects from Inception, we're going to have a pretty awesome film.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So what do you make of it, Daniel?
It's definitely gonna be good if all the effects. If we get good special effects, that's what we want in Star Wars. I mean, it's kind of not the same without the special effects. Because obviously a lot of it is in space and in planets that can't always be done on Earth, sort of thing. Like there's places that some places have to be created with special effects or vehicles as part of vehicles, or obviously outer space and all that. And if we've got a good special effects supervisor, then it should turn out good.
What do you think, Lizzie?
Okay, well, here's a film I've actually seen. I actually did see Skyfall, I think. What happened in Skyfall? Was it Casino Royale?
Sorry, what?
I
don't want to give away the ending of a memorable moment, so
I'm
that
just trying to think. Now that I mention it, I haven't seen all of Skyfall. I've seen parts of it. I have seen Casino Royale, though, so that's a different story, I know. Other than that, I haven't seen Dark Knight Rises, and I still haven't seen Inception. Frankly, Inception didn't really interest me that much. Not enough aliens in it, really.
No name audience.
Why we don't have an audience for them?
I'm Daniel. I run a podcast. I'm so special. I can make jabs about an audience.
Okay.
Anyway, well, but just based on what I've heard from the visuals, the graphics from Inception, I mean, that's a pretty good sign. I mean, I don't know. That's all I can really say. I haven't seen any of these films outside of a few minutes with Sky. Did Skyfall have a guy falling off a building with James Bond trying to like pull him back up, or like ask him what happened, and then he can? Oh, yes. I remember. The funny thing is, I remember that. I seem to remember that scene and actually not being terribly impressed by that, graphics-wise. Maybe they'll get things sorted out by then. I don't know. I can't really offer an opinion on a film I haven't seen. And one film whose 5 seconds of it I did see, unfortunately, had a bit of visual effects that I didn't actually like. So I don't know, maybe, like I said, everyone has the one-off film that they do. So maybe that's it.
I'm even trying to think, are you talking about Skyfall? Because it makes me think that you're talking about one of the Pierce Brosnan Bonds movies.
No, it was Daniel Craig. Trust me, I know, because my mum's very fond of him, and I kept sort of teasing her about that. Oh, don't start.
So, next one. And this one's got a lot of different credits.
Let's move on before I get the piss taken out of me anymore. So, are we recording Mixer, Gary, Redstorm, the Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Toy Story, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol?
And that's pretty cool because out of all of those, the only one he's done that, we've seen with some of the other crew members was Mission Impossible. So, yeah, I mean, the other three, Jurassic Park, Same Fight Ryan, Toy Story, I mean, Same Fight Ryan, still one of my favorite movies of all time. Such a great storyline. Toy Story, yeah, I will admit I am still fond of them.
Good friend ain't me. Sorry.
No, those films are my childhood. In fact, my respectometer for you has actually risen quite considerably.
Yeah, same here, strangely.
What did I just hear?
There's a snake in my boot.
Seen that, but
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, he has some great words for his names. Be the coin mixer. Yeah, don't really know a lot about that, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt purely because big fan of the Same Fight Ryan and the Toy Story franchise. So yeah, I mean, sure, he'll do a good job. So what do you reckon, Graham? Since you seem to be in the know, I think.
Well, the thing with the re-record mixing, it's actually very, very important when it comes to stuff, especially like Saving Private Ryan. For instance, for example, when they were actually getting, it sounds very gory and gruesome, but when they got the sounds of the bullets actually hitting people, basically the sound guys and the re-recording mixers went down to a shooting range, fired off a couple of rounds onto some hanging meat so they could get the perfect sound. So if they're going through that much dedication to actually get the perfect sound, then I'm assuming that they're going to do great work with Star Wars Episode 7, because, I mean, this is not only that, but these sort of people have to go out of their comfort zone to make their job good for them, because, like, they're going to get bored if they're doing the same old stuff over and over and over, so they have to do something to mix it up a little bit, no pun intended, initially. So I think in this case, they're going to do a very, very good job, because it's a little bit ambitious, but, I mean that as a compliment. It's a very good thing, so I have high hopes for to infinity and beyond.
Yeah,
Daniel.
so what do you? Yeah, there you go.
No, he's doing your work, Rory. But yes.
Promotion.
Don't get too cocky. Is he not going to stop, or is he just going to say everything?
He's waiting for you to talk, you idiot.
Every time I went to talk, all I heard was
talk.
Move your lips up and down.
You just look like a fish if he did that.
Right, Daniel's lost it.
And your teeth
Just move on. I've lost it.
Daniel's lost his ability to speech. Lizzie, what do you reckon?
Oh, good gravy. Where are we at now?
Gary Wright, strong re-recording mixer.
Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good set of films he's done.
Yeah.
Well, excluding Mission Impossible, I haven't seen that, and in all fairness, I haven't seen Saving Private Ryan either, but I've heard it's very good. Yes, I know. I'm a horrible human being who doesn't deserve to live.
Well, that's a technical question. We all know the answer.
I don't know. I mean, I'll take that as good news. I mean, I loved the dinosaur sounds.
Sorry.
I don't think we're going to bring those into episode 7, unfortunately. It's not like
Chewbacca. Roar.
Oh man, Chewbacca with...
No, I don't want to imagine that, please.
That was a T-Rex roar.
No! You just ruined my childhood.
Chewbacca with a T-Rex roar. Oh my god.
No!
Just got smashed by a gigantic schlong.
That was like 20 seconds of no. Oh god. Yeah, after all of that. Daniel, have you regained your speech?
Roar.
No.
But yes, it'll definitely be interesting to see. I mean, it will be good to see what noises, in some sense, we get. But yes, next up we've got a visual effects supervisor, Roger Guillet, who did Revenge of the Sith, Star Trek Into Darkness, Pirates of the Caribbean, At the World's End. Yes, so, I mean, the visual effects supervisor is just the same.
Yeah.
Well, not the same, but is as important as special effects supervisor in some sense. So it'll be good to see how he does. I mean, we've seen some good visual effects in Revenge of the Sith and Into Darkness and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, that's something definitely to get excited about. I mean, Revenge of the Sith, I mean, as much as some people may not be fond of it, I mean, it probably, I mean, I won't say definitely because, that might be a bit,
Hater's gonna hate.
Too fair. Yeah, I know. But I think we may agree that visually Revenge of the Sith is probably the best of the movies, visually anyway, for sure. Though I still think it's my favorite anyway. Yeah, I mean, it'll be great to see what visual effects Roger brings this time around as well. I mean, he's been involved with Star Trek Into Darkness as well. Visually, that's also a great movie. And, Pirates of the Caribbean, popular franchise right there. One I also need to get into. I have tried in the past, not much avail, but maybe that will change. But yeah, I mean, he's done some good stuff so far, playing Revenge of the Sith and Into Darkness. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he brings for episode 7. So Daniel.
Yeah. I mean, with Revenge of the Sith probably being the best prequel film, and start as much. I mean, I've not really watched the whole thing, but I've seen clips and parts of it. And Star Trek Into Darkness had some good visual effects, so it's definitely a good prospect to see bringing him into the new Star Wars movies, indeed. And I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean at the World's End was good as well. Graham?
Well, as I've been saying, the visual effects are very, very important, especially with Star Wars. You cannot get the visual effects wrong, otherwise you can end up screwing up the entire thing. But this guy, he's worked on Star Wars. He knows. I'm not going to say he knows it inside and out, because he's only worked on Revenge of the Sith as far as I know. So but he knows it to the extent that it'll be good. I mean, and the visual effects on Star Trek Into Darkness, phenomenal, amazing. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, yeah, sure, the film mightn't have been the best that the franchise had to offer, because I'm a fan of the first film and the second film was mediocre, but the visual effects never ceased to amaze, personally. So I think this is a very, very good choice. Very good choice.
But before we move over to Lizzie, I know she just doesn't like Revenge of the Sith because Neimoidians die. Am I right?
Well, now I don't dislike it. Look about Revenge of the Sith. I watched it at a period in my life where there was a lot of bad going on, and so the reason I kind of stay away from Revenge of the Sith and tend not to like it as much as the other films has very little to do, almost about nothing to do with the fact that Neimoidians die in it. Because Neimoidians die in episode 1 and it's still my favourite. It has more to do with the fact that the events in my life surrounding the first time I watched the film were not very good and have left kind of a bad taste in my mouth and kind of some bad memories surrounding the film, which even now I'm having trouble working past. So I just want to get that out of the way, that the reason, again, that I don't watch it, or I don't really sort of have such an affinity to it, again, has nothing to do with the film itself. I thought it was a very good film. I mean, visually, like you said, by far the most stunning of them. The opening battle is... It's not my favourite space battle. My favourite space battle is that in episode 6. It is, hands down, the coolest, most flashy, most incredible, most intense space battle in the saga. It's incredible.
Thank you.
And it's probably, in my opinion, the highlight of the film, especially in terms of the visual effects, because I mean that was just, pardon my expression, that was just one big eyegasm.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Anyway, that out of the way, the fact that we've got someone who actually, you know, worked on Revenge of the Sith, who has been a part of Star Wars, like you said, and who, you know, who had something to do with those absolutely magnificent visual effects. It's very encouraging that we've now got him for Episode 7. I mean, there are parts, for me, and this is going to sound a little bit strange, but hear me out, but there are parts in Episode 3 that, for me, I mean, that they are completely computer generated, but for me, they are indistinguishable from a photograph of real life. Like, there's a shot of the Senate building near sort of the last sort of third of the film, sort of 2/3 into the film. I think it's just before Anakin is about to start the massacre on Mustafar. We just get a brief shot of the outside of the Senate building in sort of sunset conditions, and it's so beautifully rendered. That could so easily be real life. I mean, likewise, even with all the Coruscant shots, I mean, with Episode 1, they looked cool, but they still didn't have that realistic element to them. Episode 2, so much better, much more realistic. Episode 3 could easily be a real location. It was just done that well, in my opinion.
Definitely.
So yeah, moving on from all that, we do have two new well, actually, I don't think we have any executive producers yet on Episode 7, but we have two now, definitely, anyway.
First up is Tommy Harper, who was in Star Trek Into Darkness and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
So another one again, very familiar with J.J. Abrams. So, yeah, I think J.J. obviously trusts him as a producer. What was that, Graham?
He has a sort of group. He has his clique, and it works. Yeah. You know, it works pretty well in his favor. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Tommy Harper brings to the table, definitely. So what do you make, Daniel?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, JJ is obviously familiar with him, so it's good to know. But I mean, it would definitely he's into some well-known things, so it'll be definitely good to see what he does.
Yeah, and is he?
Oh gosh, now who are we on?
We're nearly at Breeze.
Does she listen? Does she listen?
I'm listening. I'm trying to keep track of you guys, the chat, and this great big huge massive list that is assaulting my eyeballs in the Skype chat.
Okay, I still managed to pay attention, and I'm playing Xbox right now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm playing Xbox right now, and I'm still managing to keep attention, Sam.
Well, you a special snowflake.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have much of an opinion. Again, one film I haven't seen, one film I've seen about 5 seconds of. Again, Star Trek Into Darkness. Apparently, it was a good film. I don't know. JJ must trust him. To some extent, I'd be willing to trust his judgment. So, could be good, could be bad. It's hard to say.
Team JJ.
Yeah, I think we're actually.
I'm sorry, was that too complicated for you and your Xbox?
I said Team J. I listened to your entire freaking speech.
Well, as short a speech as it was, anyway. But yeah, just one more, and we're finally done with Episode 7. I can't believe we've had a lot, actually. So, do you want to name the last one? Not executive producer.
The last one, and obviously executive producer, is Jason McGatlin, who did War of the Worlds, woohoo, which I watched, and Tintin.
Yeah, War of the Worlds. Yeah. Great things about. Still need to watch it, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. Name I recognise. Well,
oh yeah, definitely.
Not Jason's name. I don't recognise that, but yeah, I mean, Graham, I heard you make a happy noise there.
Well, yeah, I'll put it this way: War of the Worlds and Tintin were both very, very, very successful movies. So this guy is obviously, as a producer, he's putting in money into projects that work out very, very well. So if his money's good, films are good. And Tintin for the win.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good to see him in Star Wars. I mean, I watched War of the Worlds and I watched half of Tintin. I've still to watch the other halves. But yeah, it's definitely good to see him on the list.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think, Lizzie?
I didn't see War of the Worlds. Honestly, it doesn't interest me that much, at least not the modern remake.
Too many aliens?
Sorry?
Too many aliens?
No. No, it just doesn't really interest me. Didn't it have like Dakota Fanning in it or anything? Or something?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, well, films with Dakota Fanning in it tend to be an automatic turn-off for me.
I don't know. I just tried not to pay attention to her, to be honest. But, other than that, it was actually a pretty decent film. But,
Well, you know what? For me, children really ruin films. I mean, why does there always have to be the annoying little girl in a film? Why?
You have to take it.
You better not put you in a film then.
I mean, unless this person is like... Sorry?
Oh my gosh, Daniel! Whoa!
What? What did he say?
Never mind. Never mind.
Tell me.
No, never.
Tell me, I need to respond to this.
Never.
All right, I'll go to the chat. Right, can someone in the chat tell me what he just said? I'm watching.
Daniel, you better pack your bags and book a flight immediately. Oh my god.
The thing is about films, though, it's very hard to get decent child actors. So, Dakota Fanning was a fairly, big name for an actress that young in general, or at the time, and anyway. So, in all fairness, it's sort of just like it was sort of like their money bank next to Tom Cruise, really. So, in that case, it wasn't who was the best actor or actress; it was who was most bankable. So, still though, the movie was very, very successful, and it was. I'm not going to say it was critically acclaimed or anything. I mean, for some people, yeah, maybe, but it was very, very successful. And in my opinion, it was very good. I liked it. And, so I think if this guy's money's good, then it's good. If the money that's going into the project, if the projects are good, then they're going to be freaking good. So if that money is going into Star Wars, I'm happy, personally.
Yeah, definitely. Only one person in the chat figured out what it was, and they're not telling. Oh, thank God for that.
Look, if I've got burned and I don't even have a chance to respond to it, how is that fair?
It's called a singe.
Oh my. Wow.
Well, this is recorded.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. I'll just ask you afterwards.
Yeah. So moving on from episode 7 news.
I didn't even get a chance. I didn't even get a chance to finish what I was saying.
Moving on from the episode news, we have
talk, Lizzie.
No, you want to move on. Now we're moving on from episode 7 news.
Yep, we are. Daniel?
Yes.
Is he alive?
So, yes, I am alive, Graham.
Thank God.
I've not been caught yet, so of course I'm alive. So the next is the speculation that the upcoming Darth Vader TV specials will be connected to Star Wars Rebels.
It only makes sense, really. I mean, when it was confirmed last week, we were getting Darth Vader TV specials. Sure, just speculation from now, but when it was announced, they did say it'd be around the same time as Rebels is released. So I think it's only natural that it would be to promote Rebels. And really, if the Darth Vader specials were released around the time of Episode 7, that wouldn't really make much sense, because as much as there are those crazy rumors flying about, Darth Vader's not going to return in Episode 7. Heck, his suit isn't even going to return. That would be a big surprise if it did. I personally won't see that.
So his entity will survive. Therefore, Darth Vader could theoretically survive into Episode 7.
He got pinned alive. Well, actually, he was already dead, so...
Oh, no, yeah, he's toast.
He got pardoned dead.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he's dead. He is toast.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
What did you do, Graham? I didn't know that.
Cadoodles.
But yes, it's definitely interesting that it's saying that it's going to be connected to Star Wars Rebels. I mean, okay. I mean, we've had TV specials being announced quite a bit before, and nothing's happened. I mean, what happened to a few other ones that we got? I'm trying to think of the name now. I'll think of it.
Keep thinking. Well, actually, that's a bit difficult, isn't it?
Oi!
You needed
Use
a
the brain,
brain.
Daniel.
Just try and put it back together first, okay?
Feel the
That's
sauce
2 in
throughout.
30 seconds, actually. Dan, I
Yeah?
just been twice in 30 seconds.
I only heard one of the burns. I mean, I only felt one of the burns.
What? How could you feel them? Or it?
Oh well.
Yeah, that's kept you quiet.
What does Lizzie
Yeah.
think of this?
Oh, do we really need? Well, do we really need a Darth Vader TV series?
Special.
Is it special now? Last news I heard it was a series.
No, it's a special TV. It's a special last week. We don't even know it's going to TV. It's a special. It could be anywhere.
Because we all know Darth Vader's special.
That doesn't
Well,
even.
I don't really know what to say.
So Dan, by your logic, if anything's special, it goes to TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try and say that makes sense. Yeah. I know, it's a tricky one.
And with that, I'll just leave you mind-fucked.
Language. There are kids listening.
Sorry, Peter.
Oh my god. Graham, do you have anything to say on the special that isn't a series?
I didn't even know that there was gonna be, so I don't really like. You don't talk about what you don't know, so.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it was only confirmed last week, I think, last Friday even, that we're going to be getting a Darth Vader special. I'm not sure if it was announced where it would go. It's like a bit ago, they also said there would be like around 3 or 4 installments of something or another, or multiple something to another's to promote it. So, like, it could well be, you know, that the Darth Vader special is one of those installments of 3 or 4 specials regarding it. Not enough to call it a series, anyway. But yeah, well, could be a series. I don't know. Well, it's mainly a special. Yeah. Let's just ponder all the S words in the universe.
Who did Cad Bane have a moustache? Oh, what was that program called, or what was supposed to be? Oh, where did Cad Bane have a bloody moustache?
What? Star Wars Detours.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the one. But I don't know, you would think about that but anyway. So, are you
Sorry.
the Darth Vader TV special?
Yeah, you know how much I love Darth Vader.
Come on, you have to say that's for the figures. It doesn't apply to the actual character.
It does.
What?
I'd burn a costume of him as well. Obviously, with nobody in it, I wouldn't want to cause harm to anybody.
Yeah, because, you know, you like Dave Prowse after all.
Well, I'm not going to burn Dave Prowse, am I?
Prowse in the house.
Well, who knows? You've done Stranger Things.
True.
But, so yeah, you ready to move on?
Yes, and next up I believe we have Lego news.
Lego!
Build it, put it together!
Yeah.
So, Lego set confirmations. We have the AV7 mobile cannon.
Numbers and words.
With new Plo-Koon, Commander Wolf! A Wolf Pack Troop and a Droidica. Give me that wolf! I want the wolf! Yeah!
Is this what it's like to
wolves.
constantly have your favourite Star Wars characters made into merchandise? Because I never
Yes.
get that.
What?
Yeah, but you just have so many that you just...
There have been more Neoidian figures than there have been wolf figures, thank you very much.
You got you there.
There's only been 2 wolves in action figures, I think.
Yeah,
3
two wolf action figures. Well, there was technically 3, but one of them was like a less sturdier version and a multi-pack, so technically it doesn't count. Then there was 1 until now, 2 wolf Lego minifigures. Woo! Up the wolf pack. Yeah.
I also approve this.
Yeah, I would love if that Lego wolf is in phase 2. I mean, then we'll kick Casper's phase 2 wolf's weak butt. Go on, yeah, Lego wolf.
And well, Robbie has his wolfgasms. We also have a Utapau Troopers Battle Pack, 2 212 Clone Troopers, and 2 Airborne Troopers, which sounds exciting, the Airborne Troopers, into Lego version.
Then you realise they're all bricky and blocky and, don't really look like them.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool because the Airborne Troopers have never been made in Lego before, even though they've been much demanded for years. So it's great that Lego have finally gained to make this. So yeah, very excited for those. So yeah, I mean, Airborne Troopers, they're one of my favorite, kind variants of troopers. So yeah, I want those in Lego stuff, and not as much as Wolf and wherever he's coming in. And it's also pretty exciting about the set Wolf is coming in, because I mean, the 80% hasn't been on the show since like 2010 when it was in one of the Geonosis episodes. It was in the movie before that, but we haven't seen it for a while. So it's great that Lego's finally getting out as well. And I think I know what Dan's laughing at. Is it the fact that our producer isn't just Wolf is the best clone ever?
No. Well, that as well, but like the stuff that Lizzie's putting is just unreal.
Oh gosh.
50 Shades of Tay.
Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh, I would read that. I would so read that.
Whoa!
And I don't get Peter. I just love what Peter put as well.
Oh my gosh!
I think
this chat with the YouTube upload.
Robbie's getting a bit thingy because we're not talking about Wolf.
No, we're talking 50 Shades of Tay.
50 Shades of Wolf.
Well, that's very obvious considering he's got a grey armor.
Yep, it works so much better, and it's not deniable. It's on paper.
50 Shades of Clones.
And so Jessica Bain randomly came in and said, "What about Echo?" I think we should move on to our last topic of tonight, which is discussing the recently found Boba Fett's Greedo demo, which I found hilarious.
That has been stuck in my head since 7 o'clock this evening.
When I showed it to you,
Thank you
Chris.
very much, Rory.
You're welcome, Chris. You know what to do. Let's play that video for those who haven't heard it yet.
Chris?
Boom, boom, boom.
Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. No, I'm really from Camino. I hunt bounty out of Tatooine. Don't you never call me Greedo when you know I ain't no Rhodian. Don't you never call me Greedo when you know I ain't no Rhodian. I'm a badass bounty hunter, I'm a clone Mandalorian. Some may call me Mo, some may call me Bo. Just remember Greedo, how he used to draw it slow. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Now Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name is Boba Fett. Some may call me Joe, some may call me Bo. Just remember Greedo, now he's gone and ain't no more. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Don't you never call me Greedo, or I'll blast you back to Mandalore.
Best
music ever.
Oh wait, it's finished.
And I want to give a huge shout out to our good friend and actor John Morton, who played Rebel pilot Dak Rata and Boba Fett in one scene in Empire Strikes Back.
That has to be my new ringtone. That has to be my new
That is
ringtone.
brilliant. Yeah, I mean, thanks so much to John Morton for sending me that by email a couple of days ago. That was amazing.
I feel like I'm under the influence of various narcotics.
Just sitting in college and my phone goes off. That
would be hilarious, actually.
That has to be it.
Leave my phone on in school just for that. Oh, wow, but
That might get you expelled.
Probably.
Not for a ringtone. Yeah, it'd be worth it, actually.
Yeah, that is amazing, isn't it? Oh, wow.
I'm going to be singing that all day tomorrow.
Definitely, I mean, it's just so incredible. It's such a
definitely.
genius idea.
I just love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay and Daniel, you both heard it earlier. I showed you at the post show, but Graham, that was your first time listening. What do you think of it?
I think I'm high.
Think you're high, okay. I think we all feel...
Don't worry, you're not high, Graham. It's just music.
Sure?
Yes, we're sure.
Okay, in that case, I'm just
Can
extremely
you see the
excited
floor
about that
properly?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to email...
Can you see the floor properly?
I'm gonna have to email John after this podcast and tell him we played the music on and show him it. That is just brilliant. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think our live listeners enjoyed it after just liking it for half a second because at first I hear drums.
That's definitely one way to finish tonight's topics.
Yep, so you ready to wrap up?
Oh, if only I had the music accompanying the way I shut it. But yes, so make sure to check out our YouTube channels. The podcast is www.youtube.com/voiceoftherepublic1. Mine is www.youtube.com/user/14mrdas. And Roy's is www.youtube.com/user/separatist-destroyers. And also Graham's is www.youtube.com/user/Grahamser09.
You got it right.
And check out Rory's Everything Geek podcast on Facebook at Everything Geek Podcast. And also check out Lizzie's website at sempernemoidiana.weebly.com.
Yay!
And also, yay! And also the Forcebook at theforcebook.com. And don't forget to check out our friends, very sarcastic there. Don't forget to check out our friends at the Clone Wars Weekly Podcast at Clone Wars Weekly Podcast, and also channel 1138 on Facebook, where we broadcast to you live every Friday in a very crazy manner at www.facebook.com/channel1138. And finally, check out our sponsor Hunter Toys at www.facebook.com/pages/Hunter Toys. So it's been a fun episode tonight.
Yeah, in this episode we've had some good music, some good topics. Lots of episode 7 news for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think our producer would like to end on a special note after Dan wraps up. So yeah, let's wrap up.
Yes. So from me, Rory, Lizzie, and Graham, may the force be with you, Star Wars fans.
Boom, 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 boom.
Well, now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. No, I'm really from Camino. I hunt bounty out of Tatooine. Don't you never call me Greedo when you know I ain't no Rhodian. Don't you never call me Greedo when you know I ain't no Rhodian. I'm a badass bounty hunter, I'm a clone Mandalorian. Some may call me Mo, some may call me Bo. Just remember Greedo, how he used to draw it slow. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name is Boba Fett. Some may call me Joe, some may call me Bo. Just remember Greedo, now he's gone and ain't no more. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Now they often call me Greedo, but my real name's Boba Fett. Don't you never call me Greedo, or I'll blast you back to Mandalore.
Bye bye.